Hey YouTubers, long time no see. I hope you're ready for an ADD extravaganza because I got a lot to look at. First of all, last week I was on vacation with my family. I see them maybe once or twice a year. Had a good old time. Check this out here. That's a zip line at the Massanutten Resort in Virginia, and it goes all the way down the mountain. It's got 10 separate lines, and that was number 4, I think. But try it out if you ever get a chance. Good time. One other thing before I get to all this news and such, I did get a new laptop
with a webcam,
so I should be able to start making a few videos from the road, if I even have time for such a thing. Alright, so on to the real update. Most of you know by now that the Palestinians have accepted the U.S. invite to talks with Israel. This is an article from Reuters, whatever. And they're going to start the direct negotiations on September 2nd, so that's only a couple days away. This article also says that the Palestinians welcome the Quartet statement on peace talks. The Quartet is the United States, EU, UN, and Russia. They've been they've been the major bodies trying to really push this peace process along. Hillary Clinton is the one that delivered the statement from the Quartet. Check out what she says. It's straight out of the Bible.
I are encouraged by the leadership of Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Abbas, and fully share their commitment to the goal of 2 states, Israel and Palestine, living side by side in peace and security. After proximity talks and consultations with both sides, on behalf of the United States government, I've invited Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Palestinian Authority President Abbas to meet on September 2nd in Washington, D.C. to relaunch direct negotiations to resolve all final status issues, which we believe can be completed within 1 year. President Obama has invited President Mubarak of Egypt and King Abdullah of Jordan to attend in view of their critical role in this effort. Their continued leadership and commitment to peace will be essential to our success.
Now, she does go on to say a little bit more there, but I just wanted to cut it down for time a little bit. If you do want to see the whole speech, to make sure I'm not taking it out of context or something, click a link here. I've got one more small clip of Hillary Clinton where she's talking about the enemies of peace, and, that's pretty obviously a direct reference to Iran, because you got all their stuff with, loading fuel rods at the Bashir reactor, and all this talk of an Israeli strike, and Iran test firing missiles and stuff. I've got more on that later. But it's like they're kind of balancing the peace process on one side and imminent war with the Middle East on the other. So check out that clip from Hillary real quick here.
The enemies of peace will keep trying to defeat us and to derail these talks. But I ask the parties to persevere, to keep moving forward even through difficult times, and to continue working to achieve a just and lasting peace in the region.
A lot of people think the peace talks are going to fail, or war is going to break out before they achieve anything. Here's a Debka file article. Says Arab sources, a major military surprise is close. The Syrian Prime Minister and some of his people ordered them to place all their services on immediate war readiness. Sources close to the Palestinian Authority leader Mahmoud Abbas quoted him as saying that direct talks with Israel were not in the offing because a big military surprise awaits the Middle East. And then the last one here, Tehran, which is the capital of Iran, pitched its threat level high by warning that any attack on Iran's nuclear sites would be met by the Iranian Guard targeting the interests of enemies in any part of the world. Alright, let's see what else the enemies of peace are up to here. This one's a little old. Iran claims to have the S-300 surface-to-air missiles. Israel has said that this is going to be a deal breaker. That these are superior surface-to-air missiles that would severely hinder a strike by air. So they've got that. This one's from today. Iran unveils the Ambassador of Death bomber. It looks like it's a remote-controlled, like drone. Let's see what the article here says. The jet, as well as being an ambassador of death for the enemies of humanity, has a main message of peace and friendship. So, they're talking about peace also with their bomber of death. The goal of the aircraft is to keep the enemy paralyzed in its bases. There's more on that article there. And then I thought this one was very interesting. Iran tests their new missile. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's called a Qiyam, or Q-I-A-M. In Farsi, which is, the Iranian language, that means rising. Now, on this missile, they also wrote, they named the missile, and they named it Ya Mahdi, or Mahdi, however they say it. And most of us know that the Mahdi is the, the 12th Imam that they're expecting, which very, very closely resembles the biblical Antichrist. So I find it kind of curious that, they're testing a missile, named Rising Qiyam and Yah Mahdi, which could very easily mean the Mahdi is rising. So, I mean, they're working on peace talks, but at the same time, they're launching missiles that say the biblical Antichrist is coming. What else do I have here? Here's a cool political cartoon that I saw a while back. They've wasted so much time with sanctions and talks and negotiations. So Iran's been sitting here working on their nuke the whole time while Obama's been, just running his mouth and wasting time. Right, so I said it was going to be an ADD extravaganza, right? Here's a very interesting thought that I thought I'd pass your way. Have you ever heard of the TV series called Jericho? It's about the United States being struck by nuclear bombs, and I think in the show it hit like 23 countries. It's kind of weird that they would play something like that. That show was back in 2006. And it very closely resembles something like Dmitry Duduman's vision.
They will bombard the nuclear plants in America, and America will burn.
Other people have had visions of Russia nuking the east and west coast of America. So here's the weird connection I see. Okay, we're watching Rosh Hashanah for the rapture, right? And many people have this idea that the rapture is going to happen immediately before or during, like a bombing. Harpazo means to, snatch out of harm's way. So it's not like, you're going to be having a normal day, nothing going on. It's going to be being snatched out of the way of danger. And Dmitry Duduman says things like, his vision talks about certain cities and says this is Sodom and Gomorrah, it will burn in one day, things like that. So, I see the connection. I'm actually expecting that same thing where, American cities will be nuked. But the thing that I find interesting about it is that, okay, say hypothetically that the rapture is going to happen on Rosh Hashanah, right? Say a nuclear attack happens coinciding with that. Here's the thing about the TV show that ties in with that. It's based on a town named Jericho, Kansas, which is a fictional place. It doesn't actually exist. But look up Jericho in the Bible. What is Jericho related to in the Bible? It's related to Rosh Hashanah, when Joshua and his army, they march around the walls of Jericho 7 times, and then on, I think it's the 7th day, they blow trumpets and scream, and the walls fall down and they conquer Jericho. So, it all ties together. You know, if there's nuke attacks going on the Feast of Trumpets, Rosh Hashanah, you know, why are those things connected like that? I always thought the show was interesting. It was actually a good show to watch. But, you know, why name it Jericho? Maybe they know something we don't know, or I don't know, just speculation, but a very interesting coincidence there. Let me show you the article that ties into that. It's actually from July 2009, but it's still very relevant. Russia and China warn U.S. that Israeli attack on Iran means world war. You know, if you go back to this Debka file that I talked about earlier, Tehran pitched its threat level high by warning that any attack on Iran's nuclear sites would be met by targeting the interests of the enemies in any part of the world. That's us. You know, so if we attack them, Russia's sworn to attack us, Iran wants to attack us. It all ties in together. You know, if they start talking about peace and security, peace and safety next week at these direct talks, you know, 1 Thessalonians 5:3 says that, you know, they will say peace and safety and then sudden destruction. So, is it possible that while they're working on these direct talks, somebody strikes and World War III kicks off and the rapture happens? I don't know. It's a lot to think about, but dang, that's a lot of stuff lining up. I don't want nuclear war. I don't think any of you want nuclear war, but we do know that God's judgment is about to fall, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. So, just a quick summary here. Just about everything that I've presented in this video has something to do with the Bible and prophecy that was predicted over 2,000 years ago. Just, you know, stuff that no man could know. You know, whether it's part of the Gog-Magog prophecies or Daniel 9:27 talking about, you know, a peace treaty coming. There's so many prophecies covered in this, but the Bible's coming alive right before our eyes, and if you don't see it, then you're not watching like the Bible tells you to. If you want to say no man knows the day or the hour, look how many more times the Bible says to watch so that you're not overtaken like a thief. And, you know, as always, the message is, if you don't know Jesus, you're running out of time. If all this Bible prophecy is true, that means that this book is supernatural, and that means that the person that wrote it had a message that you need to listen to. Jesus is the only way to salvation, and without Him, whoo, you're going to burn. Sorry if that's hate-mongering, but or fear-mongering, but it's the truth. So get right before you get left.